Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Sudan's Prime Minister visits a rebel stronghold in the Nuba Mountains in a bid to cement peace efforts with the country's largest insurgent group. Thousands turn out to celebrate Abdullah Hamdok's arrival for the historic meeting. Also, Uganda frees several Rwandan prisoners in a bid to ease tensions with Kigali that have led to months of border closures. And in Morocco, children born to single mothers are being abandoned every day. Some campaigners in the country are trying to help the women who feel the pressures of a stigma at a time of their greatest vulnerability. But first, tens of thousands of people, including armed rebels, turned out to greet Sudan's Prime Minister as he visited the town of Kauda in the Nuba Mountains on a peace mission aimed at ending long-running conflicts with rebel groups. Abdullah Hamdok met with Abdel Aziz Al-Hilu, who is the leader of the Sudan Liberation Movement North, the country's largest rebel group. The SLMN controls the largest parts of territory around the Blue Nile and South Kordofan. It's the first time Sudanese officials have been to the area in more than 9 years. The country's transitional government's been trying to improve relations with insurgents and last September struck a deal with the rebels called a Declaration of Principles. I'm joined now with Naha Mohideen. Naba, first of all, why is this meeting quite so important to Sudan's future stability?
This visit is so important and it's long awaited by Sudanese because peace is a priority for the transitional government. Such a visit is a good indicator that Sudan actually started to move forward from the past regime mistakes. And also the good thing is it's the same anniversary, the 15th anniversary of Comprehensive Peace Agreement signed in 2005. So it's an indicator that the opportunities that Sudan has to sustain peace in Nuba Mountains and in war-torn, finally there is a chance by civilians, so peace would largely be sustained.
Tell us a bit more about who the SLMN are.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Naba, can you tell us a bit more about who the SLMN are? Who is Abdel Aziz Al-Hilo and what are his demands for the country going forward?
Yes, Abdel Aziz Al-Hilo, the announced demand by him is the Sudan to stop the cultural dominance that was practiced by the former regime. So his demands are about the ID and about the religious. It's all around Sudan to have a variety of culture, to have a recognition of different culture and the diversity of Sudan. It's related to the ID and also to get rid of centralization that the former regime has been practicing. So the announced demands by Abdel Aziz Al-Hilo right now is not about the development. It's not about it's not economic demands. It's about the ID and about the religious and about liberalization of the country.
Thanks very much. Naba Mohideen there for us in Khartoum. Look now at some other news. Ethiopia and Egypt wrapped up meetings in Addis Ababa on Thursday without having resolved a long-running dispute over the Grand Renaissance Dam. It's been a source of tensions between the countries ever since Ethiopia broke ground on the project in 2011. It's due to become the continent's biggest hydropower plant. But Cairo is worried that its share of the Nile's waters could suffer. Ethiopia, Egypt and Sudan began dialogue in November and are supposed to settle on an agreement next week. At least 41 people in Angola have died following torrential rains. 12 out of 18 provinces have been struggling with violent downpours since Monday morning. Hundreds of homes have been destroyed by flooding and thousands of families affected. 3 Nigerian soldiers have been killed in clashes between the army and extremists from the Islamic State West African province. Dozens of fighters from ISWAP attacked the town of Mongunu with gun trucks earlier this week. At least 8 people were killed in a blaze at a nearby camp for the displaced. Witnesses say that the fire was started by a rocket-propelled grenade. ISWAP has recently been ramping up attacks. And at least 25 soldiers have been killed in Niger after militants attacked an army outpost near the China Godra town on Thursday. It's on the border with Mali. 63 assailants were also reportedly killed. It's not clear who is behind the attack, but it does come amidst a campaign of violence in the country by Al-Qaeda and Islamic State-linked groups. A South African Air Force plane crash landed at Goma Airport in eastern DRC on Thursday. There were no casualties. The aircraft had been carrying 59 passengers and 8 crew from the UN's Congo MONUSCO mission when its engine reportedly caught fire upon landing. The plane had been coming back from the eastern city of Beni, where it had been giving logistical support to the South African contingent deployed there. Now, Rwanda and Uganda's relationship has grown tense over the last half of 2019, but things may be on the up. Kampala has now freed 9 Rwandan prisoners in a bid to ease tensions after months of border closures. Nicolas Chemin tells us more.
Prisoners accompanied by Ugandan officials were welcomed back into Rwanda. Kampala said they had been held for various offences, among them unlawful possession of firearms and ammunitions. It released them to ease tensions between the two countries.
Uganda expects that Rwanda will reciprocate this gesture of goodwill. And we have brought them here. As you can see, they are in good health, they are in good spirits, and we hope they will be facilitated with the necessary papers.
In August, Presidents Kagame and Museveni signed a deal to improve their relations, and Kigali said this latest release of prisoners was a step in the right direction.
We will do everything we can from our side, including telling Rwandans that there is no problem, that they are safe to go to Uganda, that they can go and do business. We will do that as long as what happened today continues.
In February, Kagame's Rwanda abruptly closed its border with Uganda and accused Kampala of wanting to overthrow its government. In May, Uganda accused Rwandan soldiers of entering the country and killing 2 men. Rwanda's border remains closed. The first victims of this standoff are small-scale traders. Kagame and Museveni used to be close allies in the 80s and 90s. Each man helped the other's rebellion seize power in their respective countries. But the two nations later fought each other, especially in the Democratic Republic of Congo, like here in Kisangani, where they clashed over the country's vast mineral resources.
In Morocco, many children born to single mothers are being abandoned every day, as getting pregnant outside of marriage in the country comes with a damning stigma. Some campaigners are trying to help those women who feel abandoned at their most vulnerable.
At this foster home in a poor neighbourhood in Casablanca, the Beiti Association has housed almost 23,000 unwanted children since its creation in 1995. Some among them were abandoned at birth.
We do often find children abandoned in the street or in dustbins, unfortunately. But abandonment can happen when a family cannot support the needs of their child, when a child is not registered, or when a child is not in school. These are kinds of abandonment which we deal with every day.
According to the last study, dating back to 2010, more than 50,000 children are born outside marriage every year. Extramarital relations and abortion are illegal in Morocco. Each day, an average 24 newborn babies are abandoned. Fatima fell pregnant after she was raped and abandoned her daughter the day of her birth.
I know the feeling of leaving a child behind. It's too hard. Due to pressure from family and society at large, most mothers want to keep their child. When we abandon a child, it's because we don't have a choice. We just can't.
At this association in Tangiers, single mothers are supported to help them return to work rather than abandon their babies.
To reduce child abandonment, the answer would be to abolish 2 laws. One which forbids relations outside marriage, and the second which forbids abortion. Then the rate of raising awareness in society will be much easier.
Draft penal code reforms have been blocked in Parliament since 2016, while the number of abandoned children continues to rise every day.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa for now. Remember, for more news from across the continent, you can always check out our headlines on France 24's website, www.france24.com. Otherwise, do join us again when I'm back in 45 minutes with more. Take care.